What's up, y'all? Are you a new real estate agent or an inexperienced real estate agent and you're working hard to get those listing appointments and you show up to the appointments and you think you do a good job, but you get the call and the prospect that you wanted as a client chose a top producer in the neighborhood? And you're like, man, when am I going to get my break? Well, you're about to get that break right now, because in this video, I am going to show rookie agents, inexperienced agents, or agents that just want a little bit of help to beat the top producers in the neighborhood. In this video, I'm going to cover the tips on how to do that, because I've been an inexperienced agent and I've been a top producer, so I know what to do. So let's get started, y'all. All right, we're going to go over some basics, but towards the end of this video, I'm going to give you some ninja tricks that work. Okay, so you want to stick around to that. And when you do, and you like what you hear, give me some love, y'all, and hit that subscribe button. Without further ado, let's go to my tips. Look, you want to make sure that you are confident. You are sure of yourself. You need to actually understand the fact that your mindset, your body language, your belief in yourself is so big. It will bring you more results than you know. So I can give you a few tips really quickly here on how to be sure of yourself, but I want to stick to the topic of this video, how to be confident. But if you go into a listing presentation, none of this stuff is going to work if you're not confident, if you don't have belief in yourself. So one of the things that I used to really do is I do a lot of visualizing. Okay? So as a young real estate agent, I would picture in my head for sale signs everywhere with my beautiful face on it. You know what I'm saying? And then me putting sold stickers on it. And what you kind of perceive in your mind becomes your reality. Okay, so now you can actually pretend that you're a top producer. You can just understand that, look, you already are a top producer in the neighborhood that is out there for you to grab. All you have to do is go through the steps that what you have to do in the beginning, because everyone starts from zero. Because eventually you know that this is going to be your reality. Make sure you do training and work on your mindset. Listen to books. Audiobooks really changed my life. It really helped me. So you want to make sure that you're going into this transaction confident and sure. And some of you might be thinking, but I've never done this before. Or, you know, this is really hard for me to do. I'm inexperienced in it. That's okay. You can still be confident in yourself and your abilities. I was always confident that I can do the job, even when I didn't have proof to back me. Your favorite athlete, your favorite singer, they were always confident that they can do it. All they needed is the right opportunity. So now this is your opportunity. There's going to be a lot of things that make you fail in the beginning. And that can be chalked up to be experience. Other realtors that are top in the area are probably more experienced than you. That's cool. I can live with that. I can swallow that pill. But let's not make it a point about confidence. All right? So let's go to another tip. What's going to make you confident is statistics. Showing that you are somebody of value that has a lot of experience. Use your broker stats. All right. So the top producer, remember, this video is about how you beat the top producer in the neighborhood in a listing presentation. So the top producer is going to come in and they're going to talk about all the houses they sold. Cool. As they should. Hey, look at my resume. I'm a top producer. Here's all the houses that I sold. Look at my sold to list days on market. how fast I sold them. Look at my ratios and percentage of how close I was to the asking price. All these amazing stats, right? Just so you know, they're going to talk about how many houses they sold. They're going to talk about how they sold them quickly, how they sell them quicker. And thirdly, they're going to talk about how they sell it for more money. So put that in your back pocket. Those are the things, 3 things that the top producer is going to talk about. Knowledge is power. So if you're not a top producer, you know they're going to talk about that. So make sure you have your ammunition. What ammunition are you going to use? What stats are you going to use? You're going to use your brokerage stats. Okay? In the beginning, you got to use stats of your entire brokerage, but you got to learn to word it proper in your listing presentations. So you're not going to say, I sold, right? You're going to, in your presentation, you're going to say, we sold. That's it. During your presentation, say we. They're probably going to be saying we as well, because it's not going to be the top producer that comes in. All right? So, juniors, I'm going to put that as a part of my list. It's not going to be the top producer that comes in. It's going to be usually somebody on their team. So they're going to say, hey, our team did this and our team did that. You can say the same thing. Our team did this. Our brokerage did that. Whatever lingo you want to use, okay? It's sales. Use your stats. Now, here's where you're going to start winning this race. Because a lot of top producers, what they kind of fail at is starting to talk about themselves a lot. And I'm not saying they're egotistical, right? And when you do get success, you do become a little egotistical. It is what it is. That's where self-growth and personal development comes in. So you don't. Ego is not your amigo. But the point is, they've been so accomplished. They're talking about, I did this, so you should use me. What you're going to do, you're going to reverse it and you're going to make it about them. You're going to ask questions, right? You're going to be more of a consultant rather than, hey, I did this and I did that. You might want to say something like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what's wrong with the house that you're living in right now? Why do you even want to sell? And they're going to say, hey, you know what? We love this house. We grew our family here, but the backyard is too small. They're going to be giving you reasons why they want to sell, right? But when someone's always talking about themselves, it's hard to get that information. So ask questions rather than talking about yourself. And honestly, from being both sides of the fence as an inexperienced agent to a top producer, it is a lot easier to talk about them when you have nothing to talk about yourself. You know, it was so much easier for me to, and not that I had ego when I was a top producer, but, you know, I wanted to showcase what I've done. So they want that social proof. So they want to use me. I want to show my testimonials. But when I don't have those things, right, I'm talking about more about the individual. Hey, why do you want to move? Da, 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 da. Okay. So ask more questions. That's going to help you out. Now, the next tip I want to give you, it's under the same tone. Learn the DISC personality test. All right? DISC. Google it. You have to understand what personality type the individual across the table is. The more questions you ask, the more you observe, the better you can pick up on their personality type. Whereas somebody that's always talking about themselves, they're not observing. So I urge you, even if you are a top producer, add this into your arsenal, because as top producers, I get it. We have our agenda. And because time is so limited, we want to get through all the marketing that we do for these people, right? We want to get through our statistics. And because we have so many things that we do, websites and print and all this other marketing that we want to showcase that's going to help them. We have top brochures that we want to show them. All this social proof that, like, it gets exhausting. So it's almost a benefit for you inexperienced agents when you don't have those things. Because you can really focus and observe. Because in a negotiation, and a listing presentation is a negotiation, the person who talks the least is ahead. because you get to ask questions and observe how that person is answering those questions. And when you get familiar with the DISC personality test, you're going to understand if that person or people across the table that you need to sign to get the listing the contract done, what you need to do is you need to see if they're a D, I, S, or C. And then you need to mobilize yourself and the way you carry yourself and your entire presentation towards what they will understand. Which brings me to my next tip. The next tip is simply to have a really good listing presentation and know it. Know the framework off by heart. You need to know this because my listing presentation was pretty simple. The framework I will share with you, the simplicity of it, right? And a lot of times, depending on the personality type, the DISC personality type, I didn't bring up my computer PowerPoint. I had one. I didn't bring up all the stats because if I was dealing with a high I personality type, I'm going to lose them when I talk about all these numbers, right? I'm going to lose them if I start a PowerPoint. Their ADD is going to, they just want to talk. They would want to be social. I'll make a video on all that stuff on how to deal with this different personality types. Hit the subscribe button and maybe you'll see it. All right. So the point here is you want to make sure that you know your listing presentation framework. Okay. And the first part of the framework is simply to see the house. When I get a tour of the house, real quickly, I'm asking questions and I'm looking the way they respond because I'm assessing their personality type. Then I get onto the table. I go through my marketing. After I go through the marketing and the things that I'm going to do to help sell the house, I'm going to say to the prospect and say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, do you like the marketing that I showed you? And based on marketing alone, because we are going to cover price and commission next, but based on marketing alone, do you think that I'm the person for the job? That's my soft close. And they'll say something, hey, I can't tell you if you're a person for the job because I got to figure out the other stuff. But yeah, we like your marketing. And I'll reemphasize, based on the marketing, do you like what I'm going to do? Because there's no point talking about price and commission if you don't like the marketing, right? They'll say, no, we like it, Rick. Okay. Second part of the framework, I talk about price. Now you have to be really good, which is another point. You have to be really good in that market. Know the market better than everybody. You do not have to be an experienced agent to know this. You have all the data on your MLS. You have all the data on your fingertips, right? A lot of the times, ladies and gentlemen, man, you got to understand my next point. Top producers might have 5 listing appointments that evening. Believe me, I've been in those shoes. So you don't have the tender love and care where you might just have this one listing appointment in the whole week. What your superpower then is, you can give more love and care to this listing. And you're going to actually tell them that. And I have that point towards the end. So stick around for that. But in this point, you should be taking the time, maybe inspecting the competition's homes, other houses in that neighborhood. You should definitely getting all the statistics so you can show them that you're the pro. Where someone that's super busy, this is just another listing appointment. But to you, this is your life. Because you understand if you get this listing appointment, you will get a for sale sign out, meaning you will get sign calls, and you can do now open houses on your own listing. So you'll be talking to potential buyers. You know what I'm saying? You can door knock that neighborhood because you can tell them, hey, I just got a listing. Do you have any friends or family that want to move in the neighborhood? Now you can get more listings. One listing can be leveraged to a lot of things. Now you have a client after this listing sells where you can get referrals from and repeats. There's so many things that one listing can do. So you got to go all in, whereas that top producer is probably busy and can't go all in. I'm not saying they don't know what they're doing, but there is no excuse for you because this is your only listing appointment where they have 5, 10, 15 that week. Okay? So you have more time. Know the listing presentation. So let's go back to it. After I tell them about the marketing, we agree on that. I go on price. Make sure that you dictate the price. All right. You show them comparables. Now, after that, you're going to say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, look, now that we agree on price and you like my marketing, all that left to do is cover a commission, which I'm going to cover next. If we can agree on commission, am I the person for the job? Take your hand and stick it out. They say, hey, Rick, yeah, man, we like the price, we like the marketing, but you know what? Commission's important to me. Now tackle commission. I'm going to show you how to do that in future videos, but in this video, I'm giving you the framework. Make sure you know the listing presentation. After you cover commission, get the contract signed, all right? So the point here was really have a good listing presentation, have a good framework for that, okay, if you want to beat the competition. Remember, the top producers, they're out there, they're busy, you're not, so you should have more stats, more data. As good as your listing presentation is, you will have objections. And the key to winning in real estate sales or sales in general and any relationships is the art of handling objections. There is 7 steps to handle an objection. You must know these steps. So I will do a video on these steps, okay? I will do a video on these steps so you have ammunition, but do some homework on how to handle objections. Because a person that can handle objections better can be better at getting deals done. Now, remember, you think, because this video is for how do you beat top producers if you're an inexperienced agent, you think top producers have all the answers. But you have to remember one thing, because I've been both. Top producers have less patience for bullshit. Okay? So they're really focused on finding motivated sellers. Right? We should all be focused on that. But they also have less experience, less time for bullshit. Imagine you had, you know, another couple of listing appointments that night and you have a few more the next day. You're trying to rip through this, man, because like, look, you want to be home with your family. You want to do the things that you need to do. You have less patience. But on the other side, if you're an inexperienced, you have more patience. You will sit there for days because you have no other appointments after this or none for the rest of the week. So you should be able to take your time and handle these objections. Whereas a top producer gets an objection, they're like, look, man, you don't want to work with me? Cool. I got to go to the next one. You don't have the option to do that, and you have patience on your side. Always remember that. Learn how to handle objections. Be patient. You have that going for you. Hopefully through this video, you're getting some ideas that, hey, just because I'm inexperienced, that doesn't mean I can't be in the driver's seat. All right, let's get into some ninja tricks now. So some of the stuff that I gave you right now was kind of obvious, but I put a spin to it so you understand how you can be ahead in this competition against the top producers. But here's the ninja tricks. So as an inexperienced agent, when I know that top producer was going to be there, and sometimes a seller would be like, hey, I interviewed so-and-so, and I was like, oh man, I needed something to stick up for what I can do. What I really had was hard work and authenticity working for me. So I urge you to do the same. And I would be very vulnerable. And I would say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, look, that top producer is great. And actually, one day, I want to be just like that person. I respect that person. Never trash talk the competition. That shows your character and that shows your integrity. Do not do that. By bashing somebody else, just habitually, as a person of growth, we should not bash people to make ourselves feel better. Even in competition, you just say, hey, look, man, I want to be like that person. They're great. That's what I set out to be. Here's where you get it, though. Say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, however, there's 2 points here, okay? I'm going to go through them one by one. The first one is volume lister. So write that down. So Mr. and Mrs. Seller, that person that's a top producer, they're volume listers. They're getting a whole bunch of listings every single day. And as you get a whole bunch of volume of listings, which one day I want to be like, I just want to tell you the pros and cons to that, right? They tell you all the pros about how good they are and how successful they are, which they are. But the cons are they can't give you as much love and attention as I can, right? I'm going to be very authentic and honest with you. This is my only listing appointment this week, and I don't want to take more because I'm newer. I don't want to take on more than the one listing a week. And I don't have any of that right now. I'm going to put everything I can into this listing. So I might not be as good on paper as so-and-so. But man, I will tell you, I can beat out volume listers because all I'm going to do is put every ounce of sweat into this property so it sells. That's how hungry I am. All I can tell you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is I'm hungrier. I'm confident, and you're catching me at the time where I'm going to be the next top producer. And I want to prove that not only to you, but to myself and everybody around me. So you're going to get a hungry, smart individual that's going to go all in on this house. You're not going to be one of many from me. You're going to be one of one. You're going to have me 24/7 on your phone. I'm going to be here personally with open houses. So guys, that's point number one. This is how you're going to beat the top producer. You're going to say that they're volume listers and they have so much business and you don't. Be authentic. And then the next thing you're going to talk about is their juniors. So let me talk about that. So a lot of top producers, they have a team. So it's not the top producer that's even going to the listing presentation, right? A lot of times I didn't stop going to my own listing presentations because I was doing things in volume now. But when I was going to my own, my conversion was way better. So you're going to use this against the top producer, right? What you're going to say is, hey, listen, so-and-so is amazing. But you're not going to get so-and-so. You're going to get their team members. And like I said, I want to be like so-and-so. And so-and-so will probably wipe the table with me. But I will tell you this. I will wipe the floor with their juniors. Because let me tell you about the people that join a team. They're usually inexperienced agents that just go into a system, right? And I'm not talking bad about that because one day I want to start a team. One day I want to be that person. However, right now I'm not. All I can tell you is if that person is coming by themselves, and you might want to ask that question before you get into this. Say, hey, did you meet so-and-so? When they came to the interview, they'll probably say, no, it was this person I met. Boom. So the point is, hey, so-and-so is great, but the juniors or the team members, I can wipe the floor with them, is the attitude. Right? Because you got to remember the first point I told you. Remember the first tip I told you. You got to be confident. You got to believe in yourself. And you got to show them you're hungry and you're confident and you're ready to rock and roll. Look, man, these are the things that I did. I'll wipe the floor with the juniors, man. Okay? Be careful of your tone depending on their DISC personality test. If they're a high I, high D, you can talk like this. If they're an S or C, you'd want to stay away from this kind of talk, because they don't like this kind of competition thing. Okay, so that's the ammunition you can use, guys. Take some notes. Now, the last of my ninja tricks. Jeez, man, my job is to give you guys free value. So after I give you this tip, you guys better give me some love and subscribe because I'm showing you tips that work, man. All right. This thing works like a charm. You have to, before I share with you this tip, you have to promise me if you're going to use this tip, you must know the rules and regulations of your real estate board because they differ. In some places you can do this, in some places you can't. I would hold this as my last resort. So what I would do is this. I know that top producer is going to come in and they're going to show all the houses they sold to this prospect. You know what top producers also have? Stats on all the houses that they listed that didn't sell. Light bulb, all their expired listings, all their terminated listings, man, right? You know, Babe Ruth hit a lot of home runs, but he also had a lot of strikeouts, and top producers have the same. When they're volume listers, A lot of houses, they're going to use all the houses that they sold. So I can print out a book if I wanted to, or have it on my handy dandy computer and say, hey, I know you interviewed so-and-so and they're great and they probably showed you all the houses they sold. Let me show you all the houses that didn't sell. All the houses that they took on that were expired and terminated. Okay? Now, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, here it is. Boom. I used to drop a printed book on the desk. They used to look at it. I'm like, what you're saying right now is you have a 50-50 chance for your house to sell. Not me. Like I told you, I'm not having all this business. And my business model will change one day because maybe I will be a volume person, but not right now. The reason why you want to keep saying that, because you might be thinking, why do you keep saying in this video that you want to be like this? It's because nobody likes a loser. You want to show them that you have a winner's mentality. And you do want to be like that, but they're catching you at the right time. You don't want to say, I'm always going to be like this. I always only want to sell one house a month. You know what I'm saying? Because what people are attracted to are hard workers and high achievers. You can't say, I only want to be this. What you're trying to say is, you're catching me at the right time. All right? So you can have that list of homes. And I'm telling you, this works as a charm, because if you look at your top producer stats, they're going to have a lot of expired. They're going to have a lot of terminated listings. They're going to use how many houses they sold. And only if you need to, because everything I showed you right now is going to be enough for them to list with you. But if they say to you that, hey, I'm going to go with this other person, then you can say, hey, can I show you something? Because remember what I said, you don't want to bash people, so you have to do it in a way where it's just statistics. And you're not bashing that top producer either. You're not doing it with ill intention. You're just trying to win. Winners win. So what you're just trying to say is, hey, man, like sometimes, like I said, when you get a lot of business, things fall between the cracks. And here they are. So look, y'all, if you're new to real estate, or if you're not new, but you're having trouble hitting listings and you're losing a lot of listings to all these top producers, man, this video, you should watch it again. I'm giving you some value. I'm giving some real value. Not that I read from a book, but that I actually did. And it works, man. I promise you guys, it'll work for you too. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give me some love. Hit the subscription button. Give me a like. If you have any questions, just put it in the comment, man. My goal is to give all of this value for free. The least you can do is not be tight with the like. All right, y'all. We'll see you on the next one.